Happy Monday, everyone. It is Monday. And I just want to say that you all look great. Some of y'all are maybe on your way to work. Some of you are probably watching this a little bit later. Some of you probably are not ready for work yet. You still look great. And I just want you to know that we are here at the Leader Life to encourage you to have a great Monday, to start the week off the way you want to start it off, right? So we talked about some things last week with gratitude, and I just want to say I'm grateful for the responses I got. I'm thankful that I could be an encouragement and I could be a help. And it's just, I'm preaching to myself every morning. That's what I'm doing here on Mondays is how can I have a good week this week? And this week I want to talk about failure. Failure is that word, especially for those of us in business, that is such a scary word. It's thrown around a lot. And I just wanted to talk about that this morning. So we're going to talk about capital F failure versus lowercase f failing. And I think that there's a huge difference, and we're going to talk about that this morning. So again, I just want to welcome everyone to the Leader Life. I'm your host, John Howell. We here at the Leader Life believe that there are leaders among us. We believe that leaders will always answer the call. We believe that everything rises and falls on leadership. We believe that leadership is not from a title or a position. Having a title doesn't make you a leader, right? And not having a title doesn't make you not a leader. A leader is one who chooses to answer the call to lead, to elevate those around them, to cast vision, to bring health, to bring culture. And that's what we're here for. So whoever you are, whether you have a title or not, I want you to know that the Leader Life is here for you. So this morning, the reason for Monday morning meditation is we want to battle the case of the Mondays. We don't want anyone I want to change Monday. I want Mondays to be I don't want Mondays to be fretted or scared. Is that even a word? Fretted? I don't know. I don't want anyone to fret. I know that's a word. I don't want anyone to fret Mondays. I don't want anyone to not look forward to Mondays. And so I'm not saying that this is good. I'm not saying that the Leader Life, this little 10-minute thing this morning is going to completely wipe out the Mondays for you, but hopefully we can encourage that because you're a leader. You can set the tone. Whether you have the title or not, you can take ownership of what you can take ownership. You can control what you can control. And we want to encourage you in that. And know, I want you to know that we believe in you. We really do. So let's talk about the Leader Life's topic this morning, and that is failure. Ooh, scary word. So there are two definitions this morning. One is failure. And here, failure, and I laughed a little bit because, and I just want to let y'all know the secret to this podcast in the morning, or this little thing. I don't make this stuff up. I look it up in the dictionary and I paste it. I copy and paste it for you to look at. And this morning last night I was looking over this and I looked in the dictionary, and this is legit the definition of failure: lack of success. That's it. That's all they give us. Lack of success. And that's not very helpful, is it? And we can talk about, success is another morning meditation coming up, hint, hint. But success can be a really relative thing. Like success for you might not be what success is for me, right? I'm not going to get too much into that because I don't want to steal that thunder. We need to focus on failure today. Doesn't that sound terrible? We're going to focus on failure today. I promise you, this is a Monday morning meditation. You're going to be encouraged. All right. So failure is a lack of success. And I'm going to come back to this. I want to keep that in our minds, though, and understand that failure is the definition is the lack of success. Whatever you think that success is, when you don't achieve that success, according to the dictionary, that's failure. I don't know if I completely agree with that, but we're going to go with it for now. But the other definition I want to bring up is fail. The word fail is not the same as failure. For one, failure is a noun. Fail is a verb. Fail is an action. And fail is to be unsuccessful in achieving one's goal. And that's also, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about a lifetime goal? That's very sad and depressing. Or are we talking about my monthly quota if I'm in sales, which I am, as a sales leader? Are we talking about maybe in terms of some little goal I have, some big goal I have? What is it? The personal, workplace? But failure is to be unsuccessful. And it sounds kind of funny because the word success is is part of the definition of failure, right? To the lack of success. And we have this word success here, to be unsuccessful in achieving one's goal. That's what it means to fail. And so I just want to the reason I bring up those two definitions, I think it's real important because those two definitions, they speak volumes. And so let me just bring this up here. So failure, so we're going to talk about different aspects of failure. So I say capital F failure, like the big, scary failure, like, ooh, the one we don't want to talk about, the one we don't want to face, the one that we're fearful of. We're going to talk about that in a second. Failure as in making a mistake, right? Or not being able to hit the mark you were trying to hit can be a good thing, right? So failure in that sense is a good thing. So failure does not need to be a scary word. It really doesn't. I'm going to show you. I didn't make this up. I got some very historic, I have some very important people that are going to back me up on this. I'm just a baby at this. I'm not, I'm just learning myself. So I didn't make this up. Failure in this sense is a teacher for all of us who desire to grow. So I have good news for you, right? And the news is going to get better this morning, but if you're here and you're watching The Leader Life and you share a desire and a passion with me, right? And we're on the same page, that is to get better today, to be better for our team, to be better for our family, to be better leaders, to be the leaders that others love to follow. Failure is a teacher. Failure is a good thing. Failure is a helpful thing. Failure is not this big, scary monster, right? So that aspect we need to understand. And think about it. I'm thinking about my own self because I know me. I think I do. Not as well as my wife, but I know me. And I know that in my career, the greatest teachings that I have that still stick with me are the mistakes I've made, or maybe the decisions that I shouldn't have made that I made, the bad decisions, we can say bad, right? The just something I did maybe in a way I shouldn't have done, and then I've learned to do it differently, or a report that I maybe didn't know how to read, now I know how to read, or a coaching that I didn't know to have, and I made that failing, and I had mud on my face from that. Now I know how to have it. And I have so many stories. We don't have enough time this morning. It's not that I don't want to share with you my failings, but I have quite a few. And I don't think that I'm alone. Now, I think I might have more than you. I'm not saying that, but that it's not a contest. But I think that we're on the same page, especially if you're a leader and you've been a leader for a while. You have failed before. You've made mistakes and you've learned from those mistakes. And tell me, where would you be if you never failed? Where would you be? I guarantee you would not be where you are. You'd be worse off. And so that's, really important. And so like I promised you, I'd bring in some special guests today to back me up that are much more reputable than me. How's Winston Churchill, right? Winston Churchill says, success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. I love that. So stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. That is exactly, I'm reminded of a Steve, I'm actually about to release a new article this week for theleaderlife.org. And there's a blog there. Check it out. There's only a few things up there, but every week and every couple of days, I'm trying to add to the content. And I have a very similar blog article going up later today. And in that, I really utilize a Steve Jobs quote where Steve Jobs says, listen, if every overnight success, if you look closely enough, you see that it took a really long time, right? Every overnight success took a really long time. And a part of that becoming a success, right? Because failure, isn't that ironic? We looked at failure's definition as the lack of success. But then we're looking and we're seeing like Steve Jobs and Winston Churchill telling us that actually failure is critical for your success. If you don't fail, if you don't make mistakes, you'll never be that success. See, you're an overnight success. You're overnight because that's when people noticed you. Right? That's when people see your success. No one's going to see your success without the context and the history of your failing and making mistakes and learning, scraping your knee, getting back up, even hitting rock bottom at times. I think about Will Smith. I know Will Smith is a lot going on with the Oscars. I'm not even getting into that, but Will Smith is one who hit rock bottom. He was a rapper. He came out with Summertime, right? Great album, great songs. Like, and he was a young kid. No one gave him direction, spent all his money, went bankrupt, and then ended up being cast on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and the rest is history. Like, this is what it means to be successful. Like, failing is critical for that. And I want you to know that. I don't want you to be encouraged. I don't want you to be discouraged by your mistakes. But I don't want you to ignore them either. You need to learn from them. You need to grow from them. Winston Churchill, again, says success is not final. Failure is not fatal. I love that. It is the courage to continue that counts. It's not about falling down. Everyone's going to fall down. Will you get up every single time? And I know this is kind of a pep, rah, but this is true. This is the way it is. This is what separates leaders from non-leaders. The leader is able to take their team. First of all, let me tell you this. The leader is humble. The leader needs to be, humility needs, and we're going to talk about humility in 3 weeks. So I'm just I don't want to take away the thunder. I have a plan here, but the leader needs to be humble. Humility is key to being the leader that others love to follow. If you want to lead your team from an inspiration, by inspiring them, by casting vision, they need to see you as humble. And humility is seeing yourself in its proper place, right? And we're going to stop there. But being a humble leader means you own your failings. This is where it's relevant for today. You own your failures. You make a mistake, you own it. You're not too big. You're not too big for the britches of failure, right? My grandma would have loved that big for your britches thing, but you're not too big for that. You know that you're going to make mistakes, and you know that your mistakes actually make you better. Right? This is what we are as leaders. So it's not about your title. Single parent, sales rep, entry-level intern. You're a leader if you choose to be. That you don't need to be recognized with a title to begin to live that life. The leader life is for you. And it starts with being humble and by owning your mistakes and seeing failure as a teacher, not as a boogie man. And that's where I want to get to next. Failure, the reason we fear failure is because of fear. And let's talk about fear. And fear is coming up too, right? I actually said that, I think in 2 weeks we're doing that. But fear is a liar. That's how fear works. Fear works by through hypothetical what ifs and this and that, and and if you're scared of this and that. So, and I'm not talking about all fear. Like if I see a train coming towards me, fear is a good thing because it gets me off the track and gets me out of the way. But fear of failure as a new entrepreneur, as a leader in business, or as a leader of a home, or whatever kind of leader you are, fear of failure is an absolute lie. It's an absolute lie. The failure, because here's why. The failure we fear is only real if we make it real. And this isn't some new age stuff, though I'm not saying anything against that. But I'm saying is that the failure we fear is only real if we make it real. Fear breathes lies into our mind and into our heart. And in order for failure to be something we fear, in order for failure to be fearful, fear has to accomplish something. Fear has to convince us that failure is something different. Fear must redefine failure. Stay with me here. Fear must redefine failure in order for you to be scared of it. In order for you to have that fear, in order for failing to be something dreadful for us, it needs to be changed from a teacher into a boogeyman. It needs to become something that will never let us recover from our mishaps or our mistakes or our bad days. The complete fear must convince you that failure is a 180 of what it actually is. Instead of being a teacher to embrace, instead of being a friend to listen to, okay, look, I got that scraped knee. I appreciate that. I learned from that. I'm going to get better. Instead of that, failure becomes kind of a straw man, this fake thing. Failure is now this dreadful monster with a finger pointed at us that'll never let us outlive our mistake, will never let us grow from it, will never let us move on from it. And so we become paralyzed. We fear failure when failure is actually the thing we need to embrace. Failure is actually the thing that makes us better. Fear is a liar. And every single leader, it's so exciting when let me talk to entrepreneurs and new leaders. It's so exciting when you first start, right? It's like stepping onto a new planet as an explorer, right? There's all sorts of possibilities. You have a vision to cast. You have a plan to execute. You have a strategy that you believe in. You have a culture to cultivate, and you are excited about it. You're about starting your business or starting in this leadership role. And it's like setting on a voyage. And as soon as you leave the shore far enough, when you look back, you can't see where you came from. You can no longer see the land behind you. And now the storms start to brew in and just the open sea, it becomes a little bit scary. And that's when doubt is ready to pounce. Fear is ready to become ingrained and do its thing. And I want to encourage you to stay the course. Fear is a liar. It's a liar. We should not fear failing. We must fail. We must fail. And so I'm encouraging you on a Monday, and this sounds kind of weird. I'm encouraging you not to fail, but I'm encouraging you to fail forward. That's what I want you to do. Fail forward. You're going to fall off the horse. You're going to stub your toe. You're going to make a bad call from time to time. You're going to even despite your best training and your best intentions and all your experience, you have so much more to learn. And here is the thing, and I'm giving away like the next 6 weeks of Monday meditations, but the worst thing for a leader is thinking that they've arrived. The leader that thinks they arrived, the leader that believes they can't learn, the leader that believes they will never fail is the leader that is shriveling up and dying as a leader. They become ineffective. They become irrelevant. They're no longer really a leader. They're only a leader in title. And that is the worst kind of leader to be. No matter how long you've done something, no matter how much you have seen, the world is so vast beyond what you've seen. There's so much more to learn. Human beings, especially if you're leading humans, which is really what this is about, leader life. As a leader, if you're leading people, there's so much more for you to learn. People will always surprise you. Never think you've arrived. Never fear failure. Embrace it. Embrace it. Fail forward. And you can control that. And that's kind of the follow-up to close out this thought. When it's not if, when you fail, you have control over how you fail. What direction will you go? Will you fail back? Will you not learn? Will you deny it? Will you hide it? Will you run from it? Or will you embrace your failure? Will you fail forward? And will you take every ounce of lesson that failure has to give you? Because as soon as you do that, listen, whether they see you yet or not, as soon as you do that, you become better. As soon as you do that. As soon as you choose to learn from your mistake, you automatically gain that experience and become better. Just like that. It is that easy. Now, it's not easy to execute. It's not easy to swallow your pride. I'm not saying that, but that is what happens. You become better. I love this. Thomas Edison, famous stories about him developing the light bulb. I have not failed. See, I love this. This is a leader. I've not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. He refused to even acknowledge that he failed. He saw that he made mistakes and he had to go back to the drawing board, and he stayed positive and encouraged. I love that. That is for every single one of us to really take in. I've not failed. I've just found a lot of ways that don't work. How many of us can really say that? We really can when we think about it. If you're still in the game, if you're still in business, if you're still a leader, you've learned you have a reputation for execution. You have a reputation. You have a legacy. Even if you've been decades and decades as a leader, as a business owner, people trust you. They know your results. Then you have this exact thing. You've not failed. You found a lot of ways that don't work, and you know which paths to take and which ones not to. You become more and more valuable as a leader. Your story is not one of failure. And I want you to know that this morning, as we start out this week, your story is not one of failure. If you fail forward and you learn, and that's up to you. That is in your hands. That is in your control. When you strive to be better every day, you will do just that. As leaders, that's really huge because, and here's the thing, leaders, especially those of us who have a team, when you are living that lifestyle for your team, when they are seeing that in you, they will replicate it. They will. When they see you embracing your failure, when they see you growing, when you strive to be better every day. I used to tell my team this all the time. Like, listen, today we're going to get better we're going to get better together today. That's what we're going to do. We're going to grow together. This is what we're going to do. And talking to my team, and I've had to learn to embrace my failure. I haven't always been good at that, by the way. Like, I'm like, listen, I've been a jerk. I've been a bad leader. I've made bad decisions. I've made mistakes, but I've learned from them. I really have. And I know I'm not alone in that. So only you can stop you, leader. Only you can stop you. And I say this because there's not some boogeyman named failure that's creeping under your bed or in your closet or waiting for you to pounce and take you out. That's just not the case. There is a friend named failure. There is a teacher named failure that if you fail forward and learn will make you better. And that's what I want to encourage you. Do not fear failure. Embrace it as a friend this morning and for the entire week. That's really what I have to say on that. So there is a difference between the capital F failure, the boogeyman failure, and failure as in a teacher failing, making mistakes and growing from them, getting better as a leader. I encourage you to fail forward. I encourage you to write your story as a leader that everyone loves to follow, that is humble, that is embracing their mistakes, and that's getting better every day. With the Leader Life, this is John Howell. I wish you a wonderful, wonderful Monday and the rest of your week.